Hi everyone, this is Stuart Crawford again, and here we are back with On the Record, and today we have Darryl Anderson, and Darryl's with Owia Technology out of the Washington, D.C. area, Virginia, in that, that nation capital region. So Darryl, welcome to On the Record today. So tell us a little about Owia Technology and what you guys are doing, where you get started, and all that great stuff about your company.
Great. Thanks a lot, Stuart. Appreciate the time here today. Essentially, Owia Technology has been around since around 2011 here in Washington, D.C. And prior to that, a number of us were still working in this area, all centered around nonprofit IT and working with small businesses and things along those lines. So I originally started working down here in D.C. With nonprofit organizations way back in the prior century, in 98. So been quite some time, and so I just sort of got to learn a little bit more about how nonprofits function and some of the various technologies that were available to them, and started to learn a bit more and participated in some national conferences and so on and so forth in order to help understand those organizations and the unique challenges that they face. So from that, I worked for a previous nonprofit IT firm, and then ultimately ended up forming my own company in 2011 to support nonprofits, like I said, primarily, but a number of small businesses and some schools and some medical practices. So a fairly diverse group of organizations here in the DC area, and it's been a blast.
So tell us a little about the origins of the company name, because you and I talked about this many times. But for the sake of those listening to this recording, how did you come across or come up with the name Owia Technology?
Right. Yeah. No. Good question. So it's an unusual name. Owia is actually a proper name. There's a remote area of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a small island nation in the Caribbean, where my father actually is from. And one of his favorite areas of the island was an area called Owia Bay. So as I was looking for names for the organization and trying to find some way to distinguish myself in the marketplace without sounding too technical and have a stiffer name, but have something that had a little bit of character to it, I ended up with Owia Technology as the name of the organization, because it included technology but had a little bit of a tiny homage to my ancestral home and to where my father originally was born.
And that's great. And earlier in this interview, you're talking about understanding the unique challenges facing nonprofits, and that's a vertical, or I would like to say now, an area of specialization that Owia is focusing on. And you have a number of years of experience with nonprofits. Darryl, what are you seeing some of the challenges facing nonprofits today, and how can technology and how can Owia help overcome some of these hurdles or challenges that they face on a daily basis?
Sure. One of the main things is that nonprofits typically don't have someone who is examining their technology or looking for means and methods for technology to help further their mission. They're busy with either fundraising or with other developmental challenges, or their programs have various initiatives that they're doing, and so technology ends up taking a back seat quite often. So what Owia Technology has been able to do is to come and help those organizations look strategically at their technology, look for those things that would help technology be a benefit and a boon to their organization, whether it's going to be helping them in their fundraising, or whether it would be for reducing the overall operating costs around IT, or just having a reliable system. A lot of times nonprofits will have systems that may be a bit outdated, or they were donated to them in the past. Or the person who was in charge of IT might have been a relative of the executive director, or someone who may not have their primary function at the organization be technology. And so what we've done is sort of help them take a closer look at it and see where, in certain cases, changing out some of their technology in an efficient way made a considerable difference to an organization. Would that be looking at cloud-related technology? That seems to be very, very, very popular these days. A number of of strategies that we have for nonprofits to take advantage of cloud computing. Whether it's in disaster recovery and business continuity, a lot of nonprofits, any small businesses for that matter, don't realize that the sort of the challenges of technology and data loss and what data loss can do to an organization, and so having proper backups and ability to recover their information in a smart and efficient manner and affordable way, we found that a number of nonprofits are also very concerned about that. So those are some of the areas that we take a look at their overall use of technology and try to find different options for them and different strategies, different approaches that perhaps no one at the organization had thought of before or didn't have the manpower to undertake. So that's when our team has come in and helped them with a cloud migration project, or with a disaster recovery planning, or even just a technology roadmap for them to look at how technology and the new advances would be able to be most beneficial for their organization.
So speaking of a technology roadmap, and what do you see coming down down this roadmap with regards to technology, in mobile technology? You mentioned cloud. Is there anything else coming that a nonprofit or any other potential client of Owia should be looking at today?
Right. Well, we're finding that the majority of them are making that move to mobile technology, to cloud technology, because they may have equipment, for example, Windows Server 2003. There's quite a bit of that still out there among small organizations and nonprofits. And with Microsoft canceling that availability and the support of that product, nonprofits are making the strategic choice to not go out and purchase a whole new server with a whole new set of licenses and a whole new set of internal concerns, and are deciding instead to move to a more subscription-based model to an arena where all of their information may be stored in a data center somewhere with ultimate protection and lots of different security features that they wouldn't have in their internal resources. So we're finding a lot of that because now the workforce has changed quite a bit. It's a younger workforce, and they need to have more cross-platform availability. And there are people who are coming to the organizations with tablets, with mobile phones, with Macintosh and PC laptops, and so on and so forth. And so an organization needs to be flexible enough to allow people to use whatever device, bring whatever device you need, and still access the resources in a safe and secure method. And as the organization changes and people come and leave and join the organization, it's much easier to kind of turn off their access to networks and things like that, as opposed to needing to reclaim a device or work with someone to get the corporate information off of some personal device that someone was using. So we're finding that it's much easier for not only for the finance departments and the operations folks to embrace this concept, but the actual executive directors and program directors and everyone else are benefiting from the fact that their work staff are able to do things more efficiently and work from anywhere. And so cloud technology has been considerably large. It's also a number of larger major manufacturers and developers have also been providing those services at deeply discounted rates for nonprofits. So they need to take advantage of those programs, and Owia Technology has been helping them do so.
So you mentioned security a few times, Darryl. Where does Owia help making sure an organization is secure or and compliant with whatever regs and HIPAA, whatever other ones that are out there? How do you guys help them with security and the compliance side of what they got to be concerned about?
Sure. Well, first of all, we understand the regulations. I mean, that's the main thing. A lot of folks have heard about things or may have only tangentially taken a look at, so, well, I think we need to make sure that our network is secure, but we actually have either partnered with organizations that deal with technologies such as encryption, so keeping your data encrypted on devices, so if something, a device gets lost or misplaced in some way, that someone doesn't have access to critical corporate information from now having access to that device. Simple technologies like two-factor authentication, where not only does someone need to have a password, but some unique key in order to gain access to the network resources, allows someone from the outside to not be able to compromise your network just by having figured out someone's password. So there are a number of different technologies that allow folks to have a more secure network, and even having the actual data be in a secure facility that is, has this biometric access and only the ability for certain folks to access the actual building where the data are stored. Makes a tremendous difference for organizations. And the last piece that we found is in your disaster recovery and sort of backup scenarios. Like, you want to make certain that data loss can happen in a number of different ways. It can be something catastrophic, like fire or some other type of natural disaster. But far more common is, unfortunately, someone may click on an email that contains some sort of malicious content, or does something to the network. There's lots of ransomware programs out there these days who actually will hijack your information right from under your nose. So having the appropriate safeguards, whether it be software-based protection, hardware-based protection, and then the ability to, if something does happen to the network, be able to quickly go to a previous version of that or recover something that had been, has been attacked from the outside. So we make sure that there's a holistic approach to not only security in the method where data are stored, but in making sure that there are safeguards in place to protect our clients from the outside world.
So there you go. There's Owia Technology and our, the CEO, Darryl Anderson, talking about all the great stuff they do. Darryl, how can people reach out to you if they want to learn more about Owia?
Sure. Well, they certainly go to our website at www.owiatech.com, O-W-I-A Tech, T-E-C-H.com, or you can send an email to info@owiatech.com to find out a little bit more. We have a very active blog, so feel free to go to the website and see some of the articles that we've written, one of which we've recently been producing is the Above the Cloud series, which takes a look at cloud computing and gives a sort of a learning series that helps let people understand some of the concerns about moving to the cloud, the advantages of moving to the cloud, and some of the challenges. So be sure to check that out, and you can find us on LinkedIn and Facebook as well.
Great. Darryl, thanks again for joining us today, and we'll chat with you more, I'm sure.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate it.